everyone, how's it going? I am Michael, this is my beautiful mother. Welcome to another Bible study from Home Grace Bible Study at Bluebees. If you're new here, if you've never seen one of our videos before, please do subscribe and smack that notification bell so you will be notified each time we upload a new video. Also, if you enjoy this video, please like it and share with others so they can enjoy it as well and be edified. Don't forget, leave your comments down below. Alright, now we are continuing our series on what is faith. It's trusting, it's believing, it's lots of things. But what we're going to focus on today is believing. And we're going to be in John chapter 12. We're going to be reading from verse 37 to verse 48.
I thought it was 36.
37.
Oh, sorry.
37. You want to read the first two verses?
Okay. All right, verse 37. But though I'm having trouble with my iPad, so bear with me. But though he had once done so many miracles before them, now he's talking to
The
Jews, yet they believed not on him. Even though they saw him perform these miracles, heal the sick and the blind and raise the dead, they didn't believe on him. They believed the miracles,
Right.
but they didn't think he was anything special.
It's like, wow, look at this.
Dude. 38. Then that he sang of
The saying
of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hath believed our report? And to whom hath the arm of the Lord been revealed? So Isaiah was asking the Lord, the Lord's telling Isaiah all these things to say and report to the people, and he was. And he said to the Lord, who's believing it? I think Isaiah was kind of disappointed because maybe when he was preaching and talking, he was meeting up with people that, were kind of scoffing at him. I don't know that for a fact, but at one point he said, am I the only one that believes?
This all has to do with belief. That's essentially what faith is. But believing in that which you cannot explain. Okay, I have verses 39 and 40. Therefore, they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again, he hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor be converted, and I should heal them. So this was prophecy that was given to Isaiah way back in the Old Testament, that the Jews would not believe, and that God would harden their heart so bad that they would not see past the miracles.
It was almost like they couldn't. They were unable to. And I think it was to fulfill the plan of God, the plan of redemption, which was for Christ to be the sacrifice for the sins of the world. Had they known he was the Son of God, I don't believe they would have crucified him.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's actually down in Paul's epistles. If basically if it had been known what would happen, then they would not have crucified the Lord of glory.
Right.
I don't remember where it is offhand though.
Yeah, I think I remember Paul saying that.
All right, you have verses 41 and 42.
Okay. These things said Isaiah when he saw his glory, and spake of him. He saw the glory of God and spake of it. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers, so many believed on him, but also many believed, but because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him. That means, they wouldn't say that they believed, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. Mm-hmm. So, the people were steeped in this tradition of the synagogues. They went every day. They went 2 or 3 times a day. It was their meeting place. And they were afraid that if they admitted that they believed who Jesus said he was, then they would be kicked out, ostracized from the group. So they were believing, and this is the little group of people, I think, that's mentioned by Paul later that did believe. There were some Jews that did believe. Not very many, but some.
Yeah, there was a small group of them, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. All right. Verses 43 and 44 are mine. For they loved the praise of men more than the praise of God. That's harsh language, but when you're loving the praise of men more than anything else, and that's seriously, that's priorities messed up.
Yes.
Because there's a saying, and I know many of you are probably familiar with it, and I may not get it right. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. So don't even try.
Yeah, be true to yourself and what you believe.
And and do what you and do that which would bring God praise and which would make him want to say, hey, this is a cool dude.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with him.
Yeah. Good point.
Verse 44, Jesus cried and said, notice it says, Jesus cried, not cried out, as in, Father, why have you forsaken me? No, Jesus cried. I'm guessing that means tears streaming down his face. Jesus cried and said, he that believeth on me believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And that may sound a little bit confusing, but we'll do our very best to explain it. All right, now you have to take this verse apart. You have to take it word for word, and you have to take it apart, dissect it. Yes, that's what rightly dividing the word of truth is. Dissecting, dividing, separating in order to understand. All right, he that believeth on me. And he's already established that, people, that he that believeth on him, Jesus Christ, believeth not on me. Right now he says, if you believe on me, you're not actually believing on me, which does sound confusing. But on him that sent me. So this is where it gets interesting, and we talked about this before we started recording.
Mm-hmm.
If they did not believe that Jesus was the Messiah back then, but they didn't believe in anything divine. Well, if they believed on him because they saw these miracles, these wondrous acts, then they're not actually believing on him, but you take it.
But on the Father, because they believed in God, they would, the God is the reason they went to the synagogue. They were sacrificing to God. They all these laws they tried to follow for God, and so they believed in God. But then they could not believe two things: that Jesus was the Son of God, and that he was God. Because he said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
That's John 14,
I
verse
and
9.
the Father are one. That's what he said. And they just could not believe it. They just couldn't. Now they did believe the miracles because they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
They saw the people healed. But they just couldn't believe it.
That was when it was totally opposite from today, because now in present day we're commanded to walk by faith and not by sight, that which we can see. But then they walked by sight and not by faith, because they believed in what they could see. They saw the waters part. They saw one fish become many. They believed what they saw.
And it was commonplace to them because back then there were a lot of magicians and a lot of people that could do magic tricks and all this kind of stuff. And so I think a lot of people thought maybe Jesus was, especially when Moses, when he took the Israelites out of Egypt, he did all these things. And God did them through Moses. But they weren't that impressed. I mean, they just went from one plague to another, and it was just, no big deal to them.
And it went from bad to worse.
It went from bad to worse. And I think today, if Jesus came and he did all this stuff, people would be just wow.
Well, I
some anyway, and some would say it's a kook or something. I don't know.
Because you have so many people that believe in, zombies.
Oh yeah.
And UFOs, and they might be the children of Israel during their captivity. It's like, oh, another magician. Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that done in a while. But it's someone that comes back from the dead. You don't see that very often.
That's true.
To my knowledge, it happened only twice in the Bible. First Lazarus, then Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe there's another one that I'm totally forgetting, but those are the two that are in my mind.
Well, Jesus is the only one that, he didn't die again. Lazarus eventually died again. So Jesus is the only one that actually rose from the dead and then he went up to heaven. but there were a couple others. I think there was a little boy that fell out of a window, and Paul.
Oh yeah, he did something.
And then Peter, the little girl that had died, he healed her. And then another girl, Jesus said,
oh yeah,
Tabitha, whatever.
So there might have been more than one.
Yeah, there were probably
more than two.
Two or three.
But you know that was not even commonplace back then.
No.
You know, it's not often that your servant can get up from being lying on bed close to death, or your daughter or whatnot. But today I don't believe that many people would really be impressed by Christ if he came back and did all these wondrous acts, because
they would doubt.
Yeah, that's especially because there's been so many who've claimed to do them, like Benny Hinn, touching a person and they go, fall back so someone catches them. And he's not the only person who's done that. I know there's been multiple people who've done that. It's like a circus act.
It is pathetic. Bringing God down to the earth level.
And I'm not trying to diss on him or anything. Just trying to point out something that today I don't think people would be very impressed by wondrous acts, because they've seen wondrous acts so many times in the past decades. All right, you have a verses 46 and 47.
I am come a light in the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And there's so many places in the Bible where Jesus is called the light of the world, and that he shines, and that people that are believers like to be in this light, and people that are not non-believers and followers of Satan there into the darkness. And it's true. You think of him as the light of the world. 47. And of any man, and if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world.
Isn't that just wonderful here?
Yes.
Now, this doesn't mean that Jesus Christ is going to accept anybody that dies, regardless if they believe in him or not. And I know there are some people out there who have that idea. I just thought I would address that. But he basically says, if any man hear my words, it's one of the senses, and believe not, you've heard his words, and with your mind you've decided not to believe. He says, I came not to judge the world. Why? Because it's already judged. You go back to the garden.
Mm-hmm.
The world was already judged then and there as being fallen. It was already taken care of way back there in the garden.
And we all have the sin nature that Adam started, and we were judged before we were born.
And that's why women have pain in childbearing, because of Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever have a child and you are in the delivery room and you're so mad, just think of Eve there in the garden. And I'm sure that might just help a little bit.
Chomp down on that apple.
And just imagine if you're saved and one day you get to heaven, find her, and you're like, what possessed you to eat that fruit? But you know, anything you can do to keep sane. I was talking to every one of you. Anything you can do to keep sane,
Yeah,
is good, and laughter especially does help at times.
It keeps me laughing.
I try. Now, as she read in verse 47, Jesus said he came not in the world to judge the world, but to save it. However, in verse 48, we read, he that now there's. I want you to notice the tense of the words used here. You know, there's present, past, and future tense in grammar. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words hath one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. Now, we went back and forth on this particular verse before we started recording, and I was under the impression that where it says hath one that judgeth him might be the devil. Mom thought of that too for a little bit, but then she got to thinking, not quite, because she pointed out to me, the word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. And something else that you have to notice is 3 words. He that rejecteth me, rejecteth, and receiveth not, and hath one that judgeth him. All 3 are present tense words. They're not past, they're not future. They, even if you read them in a contemporary style, it's still present tense. So he that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words. So someone has rejected Christ, they have decided not to receive anything he's ever said, anything he's said, hath one that judgeth him. Now, who, like we just said, who judged the world when Adam and Eve turned their back?
God.
God did. Now, this where it says hath one that judges him, at first I thought that meant, hath one indwelling, that judges, that would be the devil, or any sort of devil. But then, after Mom pointed out to me, like I said, what Jesus says following that, it didn't make sense. So, it makes sense more now to me, going back and reading that and then rereading and then reading it again, because one time just is not enough.
Yeah.
As Mom had said to me before we were recording, said, you just cannot plow through.
I used to think faster I could read it, then I could say, oh, I've read so and so and so and so.
Because comprehension, retention, and reading are all not the same. He that rejecteth me, someone that's rejected Christ, and receiveth not my words. Someone who's decided not to receive the words of Christ Jesus. This is talking to the Jews. Hath one that judges him. It's not God. It's not someone on their side, but someone that's opposing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone who opposes you is someone who is going to judge you
Right.
as being an inferior person, or maybe someone who's not worthy to challenge them. Think about egotistical villains. You're not even worthy to challenge me. But that, I believe, that is God opposing those who have received, who have rejected Christ, and who have not received His words. That clearly says to me they are an enemy of Christ Jesus during His earthly ministry.
And part of that could be He's saying those who had heard my word and reject me, present tense, those that reject me will be judged. Because all they had to do was believe that He was the Son of God. This was before He was crucified.
Long before.
And He told them, that's what you need to believe. And if they didn't believe it, then they're going to be judged as an unbeliever. Period. Because once He died and He went to heaven, all that was not on the table anymore. Exactly. And that's when He called Apostle Paul to preach to the Gentiles.
One of the most hated men in history.
And he gave the learning to Paul about His death, burial, and resurrection. That's what you have to believe now.
Exactly.
And you don't see the signs and wonders. You don't hear Jesus say the words, but their words were written of Jesus, were given to Paul, and he wrote them down in his 13 books in the Bible.
And someone recorded them in black and white for us.
Right. And so we believe because we read it. They didn't believe, and they saw it, and saw Him and heard Him.
You're exactly right. They saw, they didn't believe, they didn't have it to read, because they were hearing the very words
in person
of Christ when He was alive.
For 3 years.
We don't have that luxury to see the man, shake his hand, or sit and listen
for hours.
Listen for hours on end and learn from Him like the 12 disciples had the opportunity to do. No, we don't have that. We hear Christ through His written word.
And it's living word. It speaks to you. It'll speak to your heart.
So, this is this particular part here in John chapter 12, verses 37 to 48 is about unbelief, and what will happen if you, like the Jews, are an unbeliever. It's not going to be pretty once you breathe your last.
And it's true for people today. If you do not believe Jesus Christ was the Son of God and that He died for all sinners, that means we are all sinners, and He was resurrected from the grave. If you don't believe that He was divine, and He did this for us because we cannot save ourselves.
And only someone who is supernatural, only someone who is divine can do this.
And He was the only one. And God does not go back on His word or on his promises or what he has said, it had to be this way. He had to make the sacrifice.
Exactly.
And so Jesus became a man. He had to have, I think it's because of the blood. Everything with God in the Old Testament was sacrifices. It was something that had blood.
Yeah, you're right. It's
always the blood.
Always related to blood.
And Jesus shed his blood for all of us. And if you don't believe that, if you think you have to work and run up and down the streets doing everything for everybody, you're wrong. Now, once you're saved and you believe that, yes, we work for God and Jesus to honor them because we love them and we're so thankful. But you cannot work your way to heaven.
No, you can't.
Christ wouldn't have had to go on the cross.
And you don't have to believe the words from our mouth. You can
get your Bible out and read it.
Yeah, get the Bible out and read 1 Corinthians 15 verses 1 through 4. Hopefully in a King James, because that's what we read from. And if you listen along with us, we hope that's what you use to study, because it's the Bible's many things, and a textbook is one word that you can use to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
And the textbook has information inside its covers. This could be a science book.
Yeah.
This could be a history book, and you wouldn't know either science or history unless you opened it up.
Right.
So it says in 1 Corinthians 15 verses 1 through 4, "Moreover, brethren, I declare unto you the gospel, which I preached unto you, which also ye have received, and wherein ye stand, by which also ye are saved, if ye keep in memory," that's your brain, your noggin, "what I preached unto you, unless ye have believed in vain." Believing that Christ is something other than the Savior, the Son of God, the one who was crucified for you. "For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins." All of humanity, according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the Scriptures. That is the gospel. That's what you need to believe in order to be saved. Not a whole bunch of verses, just that. Some people make it so complicated. I have seen, people say, "Oh, you gotta believe all this," and I'll do there's something like this, like thinking, what in the world is going on with people? No, God made it simple. He made salvation simple.
Yes, He did.
And so we like to bring it to you in simple. So it's not long-winded, and so you can hopefully understand it. We thank you for stopping by and spending this time with us in God's Word. We hope you've learned some more about faith, believing, and trusting. Please do keep coming back to this channel, and we will be with you, Lord willing, next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So please do subscribe if you're new here, and also please do smack that notification bell so you will be notified when there's a new video uploaded. Also, if you enjoy this Bible study, please do like it and share it with others so they can be edified too. And do leave your comments down below. I'm Michael from Unbelief Bible Study. This is my beautiful mother. Lord willing, we'll see you next week. Y'all take care now.